Why Amber Heard should not be blamed for fabricated abuse claims. The Johnny Depp v. Amber Heard trial seemed to be trending on every social media site this past summer. I ignored the case when I first learned about it from a webcast on TikTok. I assumed two white, well-off actors would be free to live their lives regardless of the case's conclusion. But I now see that this case has greater significance than I initially thought. Heard is being cited as an example in remarks that surface whenever situations involving male celebrities accused of abuse are brought up. For instance, Megan Thee Stallion, a rapper, was compared to Heard and called a liar during her trial against Tory Lanez. As a result of Lanez's conviction in December, these comments have only lately been put to rest. The controversy started when Heard published an opinion piece in the Washington Post in which she spoke up about her violent relationship and subsequent experiences. Johnny Depp believed his reputation was at risk and filed a defamation lawsuit against Heard, despite the fact that she omits his name from this story. Depp, who is well known throughout the world for his iconic roles in various movies, won the case last summer. Worrisome social media posts ostracizing Heard or praising Depp proliferated across a number of sites, raising serious concerns. It was hard to ignore these recordings and posts, and even now, months after the trial's conclusion, they continue to circulate online. Additionally, many of the people I know who are younger than I am started responding to posts that made fun of Heard and her story. The most concerning observation was that social media appeared to solely be spreading two messages: Amber Heard is a crook out for money, and Johnny Depp is not to blame for abuse. Despite Depp's well-documented history of abuse and violence, pro-Depp propaganda was rife on social media, and it was effective. When there is an inherent predisposition against a particular topic, propaganda works best. The majority of areas of life, including employment and healthcare, are affected by gender biases, but abuse instances are where they are most deadly. Instead of placing the responsibility on the alleged abusers, many individuals choose to place it on the victims. Although it is true that men can also become victims of violence, women have more difficulties in reporting abuse. Many people prefer to blame the victims of rape when there has been a crime committed against them. This implies that Heard would have trouble winning support right away. Depp's sex, according to some, was an underrepresented category of abuse victims, which may have contributed to the outpouring of support. It's crucial to remember that this case wasn't about him reporting abuse. It was about slander, since Heard had spoken out about her own abuse in a piece. The case's ruling is detrimental to the efforts of abuse victims, whether male and female, who speak up, rather than to an unidentified demographic of abuse victims. Many Depp followers showed there to support a minority male assault victim, which was a false pretense. However, their protests' messages imply the opposite. In front of the courtroom, fans dressed as his movie characters appeared. They cited Depp's enormous social capital, the love he enjoys from the general public around the world, and the likelihood that he won the case. Heard claimed in an interview that Depp is a well-liked figure in the public's eyes. Depp is more well-known and is loved more by the general public than Heard. This is significant because abuse presupposes the existence of power, more specifically, a power imbalance. Through his influence and notoriety, Johnny Depp clearly possessed more power in the relationship and with the public. It's crucial to remember that abusers aren't just social misfits. Many people really find them to be admirable. They have a network of people who can vouch for their morality and are well respected. However, abuse often takes place in secret. It's personal and hidden from people who aren't exposed to the abusive partner's private lives. The case was oddly heavily televised. In Virginia, where the court hearing took place, this rarely occurs. Numerous outside viewpoints with a predisposition for Johnny Depp were welcomed in after drawing in millions of viewers. Given this, it is difficult to believe that the media coverage played no role in affecting the case's decision. The divisive comments on social media and the thousands of dollars spent by news organizations to promote anti-Heard messaging all hint to a power dynamic that only Depp can take advantage of. This case was instrumental in numerous anti-feminist and victim-blaming practices even before the verdict was rendered. Supporters of Depp were policing Heard's testimony in addition to spreading a false impression of him. The perfect victim is a destructive myth that is frequently perpetuated, according to which a person must fulfill an impossible standard of perfection in order to be considered a victim. Supporters of Depp brought up their displeasure with Heard's emotional outbursts during the trial, which they said were never acceptable. If she grinned, she is lying. If she sobbed, she is acting. Depp supporters exploited this as an opportunity to discredit her charges as her tone, behavior, and reactions came under relentless examination. Heard was an ideal victim, in many people's perspective, so he wasn't worthy of belief. In an effort to demonstrate how simple it was to fabricate abuse-related injuries, Depp's supporters used makeup to resemble bruising. At this point in the case, it was evident that Depp's influence was so powerful that women felt the need to propagate negative discourse about other abuse victims, insinuating they are liars, in addition to discrediting Heard's claims. Amber Heard will probably be able to maintain her nice lifestyle even if she stays out of the spotlight. The case's ruling therefore has much more grave consequences that go beyond Heard's safety. What does this indicate for women who are not white if a woman like Heard, who is white and wealthy, cannot be believed? What does this entail for abuse victims who are underprivileged and lack social support? The #MeToo movement gave sexual and domestic abuse cases the necessary depth. In order to seek support when they disclosed abuse, Black women in particular first embraced it as a social media tool in 2006. The behavior of individuals who backed Depp and the judgment in the case point to an unsettling change in this culture. This instance serves as evidence that greater society continues to be antagonistic toward victims of abuse, particularly if they are female. Whether or not you agree with Amber Heard's statements, it is alarming and cause for concern that so many individuals went to great measures to refute them. This kind of behavior has sparked a destructive meme culture with Heard at its core that is mostly being assimilated by younger groups in our highly networked world thanks to social media. Abuse victims, both past and present, are put in danger by the case's behavior as well as the verdict's effects. It's critical to keep an eye out for how this cultural shift will handle victims in instances involving other well-known male celebrities in abuse cases in the future. The legal dispute between American actor Shia LaBeouf and British musician FKA Twigs will happen later this year. Like Heard did with Depp, Twigs has accused him of abusing her physically and psychologically. If Twigs receives the same treatment as Heard, it would be upsetting but not unexpected. Similar to Heard's experience, defamation strategies aimed towards Twigs will probably do all in their power to discredit her assertions. Twigs, however, will be even more open to criticism considering that she has already encountered sexist and racist remarks online while dating actor Robert Pattinson. Even in 2023, a more positive and productive culture around abuse has still to be observed.